I'd like to wish all of you a blessed Friday and a good Valentine's Day weekend. So, also this morning, our video guy, Len, it's his birthday. So I want to wish Len Sislo a happy birthday. And also our music director, Doug Klang, is having pretty major surgery today. He's having a shoulder replaced in Crown Point, Indiana. So prayers with Doug and Len, and it's good to be together. The words this morning are from one of my favorite books. I wish I would have met one day, the prophet Isaiah. And he says this in the 40th chapter, verse 29. The Lord gives power to the faint and strengthens the powerless. There are times, especially over the last 2 years, that I've felt pretty faint. Maybe you too. You just, you get bone weary. You get tired. And a lot of times we get tired for all kinds of reasons. And you put on top of what we've been through, and there are times when we just have to allow ourselves to be tired and a little bit weak. And also powerless, because I'm probably like most of you. I like to be in control, maybe too much of the time. I like to feel like I have a sense of inner power to make a difference, to do what needs to be done. And there are times that I've felt fairly powerless during this time, and realizing that maybe the power has to come from somewhere else and not just from me. Because we have been living in a can't-do world. Remember when the whole thing started? We had meetings and we had just a whole page full of stuff that we couldn't do anymore. Can't do this, can't do that. And one thing we couldn't do, we couldn't even come to church. And I don't like living in a can't-do world, because people come to church to be reminded of what they can do and who they can be. And when you start saying you can't do this, you can't do that, it kind of beats you down. And so from the very beginning, one thing we did do is we said, well, we're going to be here every Sunday, and even if the church is empty, we're going to pretend like the church is full. And in a way it was, because it was full of your Spirit. And I said, we're never going to lock that front door during the day. If you want to come in to pray. And so we tried to be can-do people in a can't-do world. I guess one of the things I have discovered, I've discovered the incredible power of prayer. The incredible power of stepping back and allowing the power of God to come into our lives when we feel powerless. A couple examples. For the past month, we've been praying for a guy that you don't know and I don't know. His name is Joey Lugo. I just love the name Joey Lugo. 32-year-old, serving in the Army, stationed in Texas. He passed away from cancer. And one of our newer people, Paulette, said, can we pray for Joey? And we've been praying for him. Well, she came to church last night and said that his body was brought here, and when he landed at O'Hare Airport, my gosh, there was a military procession from there to the funeral home. And she said, I want you to know that his family is so grateful that we have prayed for him. He's in the prayer book. We've talked about him, and he is no stranger. And I had a funeral yesterday, and again, it was for a veteran. It was for a guy I didn't know, and I was talking to his son, and he was worried because he says, I don't know you. I want to have a funeral for my dad, and I just don't know what to expect. Well, I went to the funeral home, and we had the funeral. And afterwards, he came up to me, and he said, okay, how do you do that? How do you come here and people think that you've known my dad for his entire life? And I said, how that happens? Two things. Number one, I am the pastor of a church that really believes that there are no strangers. And when I come here, I don't come here just personally. I come here on behalf of all the saints. And then when I got up in front, I didn't know what I was going to say, but I looked into your eye. And I could just feel the spirit of the bond between you and your dad. And that's when you kind of just step back and let God's Spirit take over. That's where the power is. And finally, we've been praying for a guy named Bill. Years ago, he coached at Sandburg, moved to Florida. Haven't seen him since. but we've talked about him and prayed for him. And I was in my car with my grandkids yesterday, and my phone rang, and it was Bill from Florida. And his voice was kind of cracking, and I could feel that he's, a little bit weak because of this journey with cancer. And he said, "You got to tell your people that the prayers of your congregation have given me so much strength when I feel faint." And I said, wow. And so I come here this morning to thank you, because your spirit and your strength and your quiet courage has touched a lot of people that you don't even know. And that's why in the lessons for this Sunday from Isaiah, we're also going to say, "But those who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint." Yes, when we walk in the shoes of Jesus and this higher power, we may be faint, but in our faintness, we receive strength. One of my buddies came by today, and I was just getting ready for the thought for the day, and he said, "I have a quote for you." And I said, "Give it to me." From Abraham Lincoln, where he said, "Whatever you are, be a good one." So whatever you are, assisted living, caregiver, stay-at-home parent, preacher, plumber, short order cook, secretary, video guy, music director, whatever you are, be a good one. And that's our calling. Because when we're the best we can be, we are God's hands and God's strength, feet. And in the midst of feeling powerless, we receive power from a source that is always with us. God bless you. Have a blessed Friday, and we'll see you at 8:30 and 11 o'clock on Sunday.